Have you ever seen a survey or a poll and then thought, well, maybe my group of friends are just all different than people who would have taken that poll, right? Or maybe I just need more people than my group of friends because my group of friends doesn't have this response. Or maybe there's an issue with it. So I'm going to talk about that as we get into our Twitter rankings, where we take 4 different pieces of data from and around Twitter to understand who is actually winning when it comes to the presidential election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, without all those issues that come up with polls and surveys. So, with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to freaking see you. Let's get into the video. So, first of all, make sure you press that subscribe button because tomorrow we're going to actually be dropping our Google search and YouTube search rankings for the candidates over a time series so we get an idea of the trend of who's actually winning. Versus some of these polls like this. This is all the polls from CBS, Fox, The Hill, blah, 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 blah. Most of them are over 1,000, but we have this one here from ABC News, which has 673 people in it. What a joke, right? And then the media reports that is representative of what the collective thinks. So where do these come from? First of all, the sample size is like so trivial, right? You have this latest one that came out from CBS News has 1,400 people in it. And then they report that represents what the collective 330 million people think. But where does this come from, right? Most of them are opt-in surveys. So I found this bit of research this is actually from Stanford. You can't see it at the top, but this is from stanford.edu. Back in 2009, in September 1st, I posted a report in a groundbreaking study by the team of researchers led by David Yigler and Professor Jan Krosnak, slaughtered their names, from Stanford University, finding significant data quality problems in surveys of people who sign up to click through online questionnaires, so-called opt-in panels. So when I was reading through this, it got me thinking because there's another site called mTurk. So mTurk is part of Amazon, and this is essentially one of those opt-in survey places that you can go and get paid, but it's not like the scam ones. This is through Amazon, so you can actually do it. So I signed up, and if you just search for politics, these are different people who want you to take surveys. So I've done some of these, and do you think the quality of the data is there? Or do you think I'm just clicking through as fast as possible to get paid as quickly as possible? You be the judge, right? And there's other ones. If you put in political, if you put in elections, there's other surveys. So these organizations, I have no idea where they're gathering their data, right? It just says opt-in panel, right? So this is one way that they can do it through Amazon. These are people who just want to get paid, right? And this says here $1.50 per survey, and it might say like it might take you 30 minutes to do, it might take you 8 minutes to do. The faster you can click through on those questions, quicker you can get paid. What type of answers and data do you think you're going to collect? Research shows that there are going to be fucking lots of quality issues. But with that being said, let's jump into the actual data. I'll show you exactly where I get it, what it is, and let you, being the intelligent human being you are, interpret it for yourself. And then we're actually going to get into a little bit of information on Instagram and a little bit of information on TikTok, which is super interesting. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So the first place that we gather our data is a company called Social Blade. They track social platforms and the individual profiles on the platforms, mainly for vanity measures for people to report on, hey, I'm ranked blah, blah, blah on so-and-so, but another interesting tool for research. So what we did is we pulled up Trump's Twitter profile and we pulled up Joe Biden's, and we tracked 2 things through here. We tracked the total number of followers gained over the last 30 days for each of the candidates. So let's take a look at that over here on the right. So we've got Trump here at 1.7 million new followers over the last 30 days versus 907 for Joe Biden. Well, that's category 1 for Trump, right? And you might be like, well, I follow Trump and I fucking hate him. Cool. I think a better question may potentially be, do you have anything better to do with your life? Oh, I'm doing research. Again, do you you have anything better to do with your time, you're not doing research if you have the intent of going into something with zero humility and zero objectivity and zero understanding, searching for the truth, we'll call that the media, but if you're going in that matter, that is not research. Maybe just potentially there's a better use of your time to make your life better, right? Whether you want to make more money, whether you want to have a better relationship, whether you need to take care of the 7,000 things that you need to take care of in your life, right? Go clean your room. Go do whatever you need to do. Call somebody and tell them you love them. Like, whatever you need to do, maybe just potentially there's a better use of your time. So we'll call that a wash, right? Because that probably happens on both sides. So if you took off 20% of people who just don't have anything better to do with their time, either way, it's still about 2 to 1. So let's go on to the next category. The next category is actually kind of interesting because this gives us an idea of the amount of work somebody's putting in. And if you were to think about attention as the currency, because that's what it is in 2020, if you want to accomplish anything in 2020, you need attention. If you want to meet somebody, get enough attention, you can meet that person. If you want to sell something, get enough attention, you can sell it. If you want a raise, you need your boss's attention, right? If you want anything in 2020, you need attention. And today, we have the tools to do that through the free distribution that comes with different social platforms. So the amount of effort somebody puts into a platform gives us an understanding of how much effort is getting put in to communicate with the audience. It gives us an idea of the type of person who's willing to put in that much work. And we can see here that Trump has 839 tweets over the last 30 days versus 211 for Biden. Kind of interesting. So you would expect Trump to be winning because he's working harder, right? He's putting in more effort to that, to communicate with the public, to communicate with the audience. If you're trying to sell a product, you can increase the trust you have with your audience who's going to be purchasing your product, right? We're talking about a product, right? Say you want to buy this water, right? This sparkling water. If you go through and you can communicate with the people who are going to potentially be purchasing this or the people who are following you, and you talk about this, and you just talk about your experience with this, and you talk about the effort that's going into this, and you talk about the type of tin that's going on here, you are doing a better job of communicating what is going on up here. And you build that trust with your audience so that they get your product versus somebody else's product. Same thing happens with the election. Same thing happens in anything you do. You need to be able to communicate with people, and we can see here that it is about 4 to 1. For every 1 tweet Biden puts out, there's 4 Trump is putting out. Right? The next indicator, we actually used the Twitter platform for this, and what we did is we took the hashtag Biden 2020 and the hashtag Trump 2020. So these, again, are going to have people who just use these hashtags who just don't have anything better to do with their time than use the hashtag, right, relative to somebody that they don't care about, whether it's Trump supporters using the hashtag around Trump and calling him all sorts of names and stuff, or the opposite of that and doing that on Trump, right? But it is an indicator of the volume of attention around each character. And we get to see that this is over a 5-minute time period because I just didn't want to count them for an hour. This is over 5 minutes. It is also early in the morning. It's 10:30 in the morning here, so it's not early, but I did the research earlier this morning. In 5-minute period, the hashtag Trump 2020 had 46 usage in 5 minutes, and for the hashtag around Joe Biden 2020 had 30. So that's kind of interesting because what we see over here is 3 categories in a row where Trump is winning, but what is going on over here? Because all these polls from all these supposed credible organizations say something else. Do you think that maybe there's an issue with the quality of their data, as we touched on? Like, you can go create an account on here And you can go get people surveys and you can go give them an incentive to take the survey, right? It's pretty simple. I mean, you're a smart human being. Use that head and think for yourself, right? I think that's one of the reasons why we're in this, whatever you want to call it today, where there's so much animosity towards everybody and nobody can actually have a conversation without getting so butthurt and emotionally involved with whatever their point of view is because people don't want to think for themselves. So there's an awakening that appears to be happening, and it's a beautiful thing. The next and final category, before we get into the bonus rounds where we take a look at the Instagram hashtag usage and the TikTok hashtag usage, another platform that captures Generation Z and millennials, right? These are going to be the two largest generations in terms of voter turnout for 2020. You can look at 2018 Pew Research. Shows that the 2018 midterm elections had extreme levels of voter turnout back to early 1900s. That's expected to happen in 2020. We're going to have voter turnout that is unheard of in modern times. It is going to be a monumental election, and it's going to be super interesting to follow. So let's get into this last factor here. This is Google Trends. Google is the largest search engine in the world, and they're also the largest website in the world in terms of traffic and whatnot. And what we're doing is looking at the United States over the last 30 days for two different search terms. We've got Donald Trump Twitter and Joe Biden Twitter, right? And as we can see here, that over the last 30 days, there's a big discrepancy. Just basically nobody cares what Biden's saying because nobody's fucking looking for what he says. And a lot of people are looking for what Trump says. So when you look at the total amount of volume of searches between Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, it's like more than 10 to 1. It's like 10 to 12 to 1. For every one search for Joe Biden, there's 10 to 12 searches for Donald Trump. But wait a second, why isn't that showing that up in the data? Well, because it's fucking biased as fuck. Use your head. And this is what the media reports on. That these represent what this survey by ABC News, the media reports on, that has 673 respondents, 673 data points. The media will say this 673 people represents what the American public thinks from a statistical standpoint is going to be a 95% accuracy with a 3-point margin on either side. What the fuck are they talking about? There's 330 million people in America. And I studied statistics for years. I also have an MBA. To think about the quality issues with this, if you look at data that wasn't biased in the way it was collected, if you looked at data that wasn't biased in the way the questions were asked, right? All of these things are just compounded upon each other. So you just have like crap upon crap upon crap upon crap upon crap. And then what do you think the end product is going to be? It's going to be crap. You just put crap upon crap. Like that's all it's going to be. So out of these four factors, Trump easily trounces. Easily trounces. But you're like, well, it's because Trump, he uses Twitter all the time. Yeah, no shit. He's trying to communicate with the American public. But what about Instagram, right? Because that's another platform that a lot of Gen Z and millennials use, who are going to, again, be the largest increase in terms of voter turnout for 2020, according to Pew Research. Well, we did the same thing over here. And by the way, we're going to be covering the Google search volume and the YouTube search volume tomorrow. So make sure you press that subscribe button and that bell notification. But we can see here that Biden had 133,000 people who have used his hashtag on Instagram. But Trump had 2.438 million people, who have used his hashtag. Interesting, right? Because Instagram is like a very popular social network at this moment in time. But something that's even more popular than Instagram is TikTok, right? So TikTok is short form videos about a minute long. And you can see that there is 825 almost million views on content that have had the hashtag Biden 2020 in them. You're like, oh, wow, Biden is actually doing better on TikTok than he is on Instagram. But this is effectively views, where this is just usages. So this number is obviously going to be substantially higher than that. Where that is going to be, I don't know, but you can see that there's a substantial amount more people on TikTok than there is on Instagram. Again, this is a cloudy number because it is a global number here. But what about Trump? Trump has 6.8 billion views on Trump 2020. Again, 6.8 billion views, almost 10x the amount of attention that Joe Biden has. So let me ask you again. Have you ever seen a survey and thought, maybe this just doesn't represent a large enough pool of people because my friends all see something different? Have you ever thought that before? Now you can understand a little bit more about that. And if you appreciate what we're doing here and you want to spread the truth, I believe the truth always wins in the end. Even though that might be suppression, there is suppression in a lot of areas. I need your help to share this with other people. Take a moment, share this video with somebody else who you think can get attention or who you think will get value out of this. The media is not going to talk about this. We know that. The North Star for the media, their beacon, right? Their backbone, their spine is not based upon the truth, is not based upon the accuracy of what they report, is not based upon the objectivity of what they say. Everything that comes out needs to be twisted and manipulated in such a way to shape people's opinions about what is happening in a way that fits their agenda. And if you can see this with your own eyes, right? I don't need to tell you this is my opinion. This is actually taking place. Take a moment, press that thumbs up button. That helps out the YouTube algorithm so that YouTube sees more people like it, and then they show this video to more people. And it also helps out even more by taking the video and sharing it with somebody who you know can get value out of it, so that we can spread this message of what's actually going on here so that more people can see. I appreciate you guys. Peace.